Excuse My French is the debut studio album by American rapper French Montana. It was released on May 21, 2013, by Coke Boys, Bad Boy Records, Maybach Music Group, and distributed by Interscope Records. The album features guest appearances from Max B, Ace Hood, Snoop Dogg, Scarface, the Weeknd, Diddy, Drake, Rick Ross, Birdman, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Ne-Yo, Raekwon, 2 Chainz, and Machine Gun Kelly among others. The album's production was handled by Reefa, Michael Made It, Rico Love, Jahlil Beats, Lex Luger, Cardiak, and Young Chop among others. On June 16, 2013, the album has sold 94,000 copies in the United States. Background: French Montana revealed in a September 2012 interview with Rapfix Live that he has worked with fellow recording artists Diddy, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Drake, Wiz Khalifa, 2 Chainz, Whale, Scarface, Lana Del Rey, Nicki Minaj, MIA, and Max B on the album. Montana also stated that he had a song with R&B singer the Weeknd, entitled Gifted. In addition, on January 26, 2013, he revealed in an interview with Wrap Up TV that he had also worked with Kanye West on the album. The album cover was released on January 29, 2013. In another January 2013 interview with Wrap Up, he announced he had a song with Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg on the album and that producers on the album would include Young Chop, Harry Ford and Rico Love. Also saying that the album would be the album of the decade. The final track list would also reveal features from DJ Khaled, Mavado, Ace Hood, Jeremy, Raekwon, Fabolous, Tresongz, Machine Gun Kelly, Red Cafe, Chinx Dougz, Johnny May Cash and Loss. Max B performs the album's intro in a phone-in from jail. During the promotional run for the album, French told Hot 97 that the only artist he paid to make an appearance on his album was Max B. Releasing promotion: the album was originally set for a July 17, 2012 release before being pushed back to fall 2012. On December 20, 2012, Montana revealed that the release date would be March 12, 2013. However, it was later postponed again to April 16, 2013, and once more until May 21, 2013. On November 19, 2012, Montana released a new mixtape, entitled Mac and Cheese 3. The mixtape included appearances from Diddy, MGK, Fat Joe, Whale, Mac Miller, Karen Y, Rick Ross, J. Cole, Trina, Prodigy, Digger, and Ace Hood. In addition, the tape features production from Young Chop and Rico Love, among others. As of January 26, the mixtape has been downloaded more than 1 million times on mixtape hosting site DatPiff. From February 26 to March 26, 2013, Montana embarked on the Excuse My French tour ahead of the album's official issuance. He later released 30-second snippets for every song on the record on May 12, 2013. Singles: the first official single released from Excuse My French was Pop That, which featured Rick Ross, Drake, and Lil Wayne, with production from Lee on the beats. The song was released on June 15, 2012, and peaked at 36 on the US Billboard Hot 100. On January 26, 2013, Montana announced that the next single would be released within the next week and is a remake of the song Freaks, which originally appeared on the debut album of rapper Lil Vicious, Destination Brooklyn. Freaks featuring Nicki Minaj was premiered on Hot 97 on February 13, 2013 and released to iTunes the next day. On February 18, 2013, the music video was filmed for Freaks. On March 7, 2013, the music video for Freaks featuring Nicki Minaj was released. On March 12, 2013, the single was released to Rhythm Crossover Radio. The song Ain't Worried About Nothing would be released as the third official single, for digital download on April 15, 2013. It is his first career solo single. A music video was filmed in late April and released on May 7, 2013. The first promotional single released off the album was titled Marble Floors featuring Rick Ross, Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz was released on December 4, 2012. On June 19, 2013, the music video was released for I Told Em. On September 9, 2013, the music video was released for If I Die. On September 23, 2013, the music video was released for the Birdman and Rick Ross collaboration Trap House. On October 15, 2013, the music video for the Weeknd featuring Gifted was released. On November 18, 2013, the music video was released for Once in a While featuring Max B. On January 20, 2014, the music video was released for Paranoid featuring Johnny May Cash. Commercial performance: the album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 chart, with first-week sales of 56,000 copies in the United States. In its second week the album sold 18,000 more copies. In its third week the album sold 11,000 more copies. In its fourth week of release the album sold 8,400 more copies, bringing its total sales to 94,000. Critical response: upon its release Excuse My French was met with mixed reviews from music critics. At Metacritic, which assigns a weighted mean rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics, the album received an average score of 53, based on 11 reviews, which indicates mixed or average reviews. David Jeffries of AllMusic gave the album 3 stars out of 5, saying, "The rest of the album suffers from redundancy and some wasted opportunities with the guests, but Montana is a flossy tycoon first and a wordsmith second at this point, so his handing in a high-power mixtape instead of a focused debut is to be expected, and with a little bottle service, enjoyed." Simon Vosick Levinson of Rolling Stone gave the album 2.5 stars out of 5, saying the beats on his major label debut range from bleak to triumphal to jackhammer manic. None of it seems to make a difference to French, who spills syllables in the same rich slurry nearly every time. Hey unregistered trademark SA man a few words a many of his hooks consist of a single staccato phrase, looped until it verges on nonsense. When these mantras connect, they're unregistered trademark re-indelible. When they don't unregistered trademark T, eat a unregistered trademark S like being smacked in the face repeatedly with an iced out chain. Ian Cohen of Pitchfork Media gave the album a 3.5 out of 10, saying this is the point in the review where you might expect me to say this is everything wrong with hip-hop in 2013, but that might unregistered trademark have been the case if Excuse My French has sold a ton of copies and could be taken as a mandate for more of the same. Instead, forcing French Montana into that number 1 spot and having it come off like a transplant rejection actually lets us know the genre unregistered trademark is in fine health. Jovan Hay of Dbooth gave the album 3 out of 5 stars, saying ultimately, Excuse My French was very predictable. If you were looking for music to ride around to this summer, then it is the perfect album. On the flip side, if you somewhat bought into Frink unregistered trademark SA a 10 comment, I can't unregistered trademark T believe you want a unregistered trademark T leave disappointed. There just isn't a unregistered trademark T much more to the album aside from the fun energetic singles we have already heard, but nevertheless, Emph was an good debut for a Bronx native we can expect to see in the game for years to come. Peter Marek of Exclaim gave the album a 1 out of 10, saying Excuse My French is almost exclusively loud and aggressive, which has become the formula for this type of thing, programmed, repetitive hi-hats, 808s and a guest verse by Rick Ross. Compared to the innovative production on Chance the Rapper and Greenovers records, for example, or even Drake's recent material, Montana's selection of trap beats falls flat. It's the kind of sweatshop beat-making mainstream producers have learned to accept as they cash their checks. Lyrically, Montana does what any cat on the corner can do, talk slick. Bruce Smith of Hip Hop DX gave the album 2.5 stars out of 5, saying Excuse My French comes off as extremely formulaic. The use of recognizable samples, the go-to features of the day, the attempts to cover all markets and demographics, give the album a forced feel. While some of the records either have, or will make their run in the clubs or strip clubs specifically listening to Excuse My French in its entirety is an extremely strenuous task at best. while excessive tales of flossing, the streets, and misogyny are nothing new to hip-hop, the complete lack of creativity those subjects are executed with on this project, whether it be lyrically or instrumentally, make it a hard listen. David Turner of Spin gave the album a 5 out of 10, saying the end result is that French disappears on his own album. His biggest single to date, Pop That, was dominated by Drake, Rick Ross, and Lil Wayne. His other radio hit, Freaks, needed Nicki Minaj to generate spins. Even the beats on those singles an Uncle Luke sample on the former, and a rework of Lil Vicious's Freaks on the latter feel more prominent than the main guy rapping over them. French has a great, unique ad-lib, an identifiable voice, and a face recognizable in a silhouette. But on Excuse My French, he's outshone and undervalued. Dan Bianovsky of XXL gave the album an L, saying for every artistic, deep-thinking rhymer in hip-hop, you need someone like French Montana, who can balance out the ratchet equilibrium of the genre, so taken at face value as a fun record filled with turn-up anthems Excuse My French is a good album, possibly the best one the Coke Boy could make. Theory unregistered trademark S enough big boasts and big beats here to carry Frinka unregistered trademark S charm, which is really all you could ask for with a debut LP from the bad boy. Track listing, sample credits, Once in a While contains a sample of Barry Bonds by Kanye West and Lil Wayne. Fuck What Happens Tonight contains samples of I Got Over Love by Major Harris. Pop That contains Element and a recording sample of I Wanna Rock Doo Doo Brown by Uncle Luke. Freaks contains samples from Freaks by Lil Vicious and Murder She Wrote. We Go Wherever We Want contains interpolations of Ice Cream written by RZA. Bust It Open contains a sample of I Wanna Rock by Uncle Luke. Throw It in the Bag contains a sample of Step In Up by MIA. Charts, release history, references.